嗨，大家好，我是 Jenny， 欢迎来到沉思者 J。今天要跟大家聊的这位大师啊，他绝对是电影史上最疯狂的导演之一。他叫做沃纳荷索，1942年出生在德国慕尼黑。二战结束时他才3岁，整个童年都在战后的废墟中度过。那个年代的德国一片萧条，食物短缺是常态。荷索说他12岁才第一次打电话，17岁才第一次看电影，这样的成长背景反而造就了他。他学会了用最原始的方式观察世界，不依赖任何现成的工具。这种能力后来成为他创作的核心。荷索14岁就立志要拍电影，但他完全不知道该怎么开始。德国战后的电影产业几乎崩溃，没有电影学校可以去读，他只能靠自学。19岁时他在钢铁厂打工，白天做最辛苦的粗活，晚上就偷偷研究电影理论。他用打工存下来的钱，买了一台老旧的35厘米摄影机，那台机器坏了好几个地方，但荷索硬是把它修好了。1962年他拍了第一部短片，叫做《赫拉克勒斯》，讲的是几个健美运动员的故事。这部片子粗糙但充满力量，已经能看出荷索独特的风格。1968年他拍出第一部长片，片名是《生命的讯号》，讲一群人困在希腊某个小岛上，资源匮乏逼近疯狂的故事。这部电影为他赢得德国电影奖，但真正让荷索一炮而红的是1972年的阿基尔《上帝的愤怒》。这部片的拍摄过程简直是传奇。故事背景在16世纪的南美洲，西班牙征服者在亚马逊丛林寻找黄金国，荷索坚持要在真实的丛林里拍摄。他带着整个剧组深入秘鲁的雨林，那里根本没有道路，所有器材都要靠人力搬运，拍摄条件恶劣到难以想象。演员和工作人员轮流生病，有人被毒蛇咬伤，有人差点溺水。荷索自己也染上严重的热带病，但他坚持不停工。这部片最著名的一幕是主角站在一艘竹筏上，竹筏被几百只猴子占据，那些猴子全是真的，荷索从当地村民那里买来的。拍完戏后他把猴子全放生了。还有一场戏是竹筏顺流而下，摄影机架在另一艘小船上跟拍，结果遇到急流几乎翻船，所有人都吓坏了。但荷索说继续拍，这种不要命的拍片方式成为荷索的标志。他相信只有真实的危险才能拍出真实的情感。1974年他拍了《每个人为自己》，上帝对抗所有人。这部片讲一个聋哑盲的少年在原始山区挣扎求生的故事。荷索找来一个真正的聋哑盲演员，名字叫做布鲁诺·施莱恩斯坦。这个人的人生本身就是奇迹。他从小被关在精神病院，被当作智障对待。后来荷索发现他其实非常聪明，只是无法和外界沟通。荷索花了好几个月训练他演戏，最后拍出来的效果震撼人心。这部片让布鲁诺成为国际巨星，也让荷索拿下坎城影展评审团大奖。说到荷索，就不能不提克劳斯金斯基。这位演员和荷索的关系可以说是爱恨交织。他们一起合作了5部电影，每一部都是经典，但拍摄过程都像打仗。金斯基脾气火爆到极点，动不动就在片场发飙。有次他连续骂脏话3个小时，整个剧组都被吓傻了。荷索说他当时真想开枪打死他，但又舍不得，因为金斯基的演技确实无人能敌，他能把角色的疯狂演绎到极致，这正是荷索需要的。1982年他们合作《费兹卡拉多》，这部片的疯狂程度超越所有前作。故事讲一个橡胶商人想在亚马逊丛林深处建造歌剧院，为了运送建材，他决定把一艘300吨重的蒸汽船从一条河拖到另一条河，中间要翻越一座山。这听起来就不可能，对吧？但荷索说我们真的要这样做。他拒绝用模型或特效，他真的找来一艘300吨的船，用人力和滑轮系统拖上山。整个过程花了4个月，雇佣了1000多名当地原住民，有好几次船差点翻覆。 缆绳突然断裂，差点砸死好几个工人。金斯基每天都在片场咆哮，威胁要退出拍摄。当地的印第安酋长跟荷索说，你要的话我们可以帮你杀了他。荷索说算了，还是忍一忍吧。拍摄期间还发生一件离谱的事，一个临时演员被毒蛇咬伤，他知道毒液会扩散，于是拿出电锯把自己的脚砍掉。这个人后来活下来了，还继续在片场工作。荷索把这些真实事件都记录下来，后来做成一部纪录片，叫做《制造费兹卡拉多的重担》。这部纪录片本身就成为经典，很多人说它比正片还精彩。荷索拍纪录片的功力绝对不输剧情片。1999年他拍了《我的死敌》，讲的就是他和金斯基的恩怨情仇，用大量珍贵的幕后影像展现两人既合作又对抗的关系。2005年他拍了《灰熊人》，讲一个环保人士提摩西·崔德威在阿拉斯加和灰熊共同生活，最后被灰熊吃掉的真实故事。荷索用崔德威自己拍摄的影像，加上访谈和旁白，探讨人与自然的界限。这部片引发巨大争议，有人说荷索在消费死者，有人说他揭示了深刻的真相。2010年他拍了《遗忘之洞》，用 3D 技术记录法国肖维岩洞，那里有32000年前的壁画，是人类最古老的艺术品。荷索用诗意的镜头语言，让观众感受到时间的重量。他说这些话证明了人类从远古时代就有创造美的冲动，这种冲动才是我们的本质。荷索对极限环境有种迷恋，他拍过南极洲的纪录片，拍过撒哈拉沙漠的纪录片，拍过深海火山的纪录片。他说越是极端的环境，越能看清人性的本质。文明的外衣在那里会被剥掉，剩下的才是真实的人。但荷索也不是只会拍苦难，他有幽默感而且很独特。2009年他拍了《坏中尉》，是一部黑色喜剧警匪片，尼古拉斯凯奇主演，演一个嗑药嗑到疯掉的警察。整部片荒谬到让人目瞪口呆，但又有种莫名的魅力。荷索说他喜欢这种失控的感觉，人生本来就不该太正常。他也拍过科幻题材，2016年的《沉默与黑暗的国度》，想象网络全面瘫痪的未来世界，人类要重新学习面对面沟通。这部片预言式的探讨数位时代的问题。荷索说科技让人类越来越孤独，我们需要重新找回真实的连结。荷索的拍片哲学非常特别，他反对剧本的过度控制，认为计划太完美反而会失去灵魂。他喜欢在拍摄现场即兴发挥，让意外成为创作的一部分。他说最好的画面往往来自意外，那些计划之外的瞬间才是真正的电影魔法。他也反对电影学院的教育，他说学校教的都是技术，但电影需要的是勇气和想象力，这些东西教不来，只能靠自己去闯去碰撞。他建议年轻导演不要去读电影，而是去旅行去冒险，去体验真实的人生。荷索自己就是这样做的，他一辈子都在旅行，足迹遍布7大洲，从亚马逊雨林到撒哈拉，从南极冰原到科威特油田。他说每到一个新地方，都会看到不同的人性面貌，这些经验比任何电影课都宝贵。他还有个著名的理论，叫做狂喜的真实。他说纪录片追求的不该是事实，而是更深层的真相。有时候事实反而会遮蔽真相，需要用诗意的方式去呈现。这个理论影响了整整一代纪录片导演。荷索的作品超过70部，包括剧情片和纪录片，每一部都有他鲜明的印记。他从不重复自己，永远在寻找新的挑战。80多岁了还在拍片，还在环游世界寻找故事。他说只要还能走能看，就会一直拍下去。他获得过无数奖项，包括坎城评审团大奖、威尼斯银狮奖、柏林影展终身成就奖。但他说这些奖项不重要，重要的是电影本身，是那些在荧幕上活过来的人，是观众在黑暗中感受到的震撼。荷索影响了很多后辈导演， 像是克里斯多弗·诺兰、保罗·汤马斯·安德森、乔许·雷朵都公开表示，荷索是他们的偶像。他证明了电影可以不遵守规则，可以用最原始的方式去捕捉人性的本质。回顾荷索的一生，你会发现他从不妥协，不向市场低头，不向投资人妥协，不向恶劣的拍摄条件低头。他只忠于自己的艺术理念，这种坚持让他吃了很多苦，但也成就了他的伟大。有人说荷索是疯子，有人说他是天才，也许两者都对，因为真正的天才往往都有点疯狂，他们看到别人看不到的东西，敢做别人不敢做的事，用常人无法理解的方式创造出永恒的作品。沃纳荷索就是这样一个人，他用一生证明，电影不只是娱乐，更是探索人性的工具，是对抗平庸的武器，是梦想与疯狂的结晶。如果你还没看过他的作品，强烈建议找来看看，保证会颠覆你对电影的认知。我们下次见咯。Hello everyone, I'm Jenny. Welcome to Thinker J. Today we are talking about one of the most extraordinary directors in cinema history. His name is Werner Herzog. Born in Munich, Germany in 1942. He was only 3 when World War II ended. His entire childhood was spent among the ruins of post-war Germany. It was a time of devastation and scarcity. Food shortages were the norm. Herzog said he did not make his first phone call until age 12. He did not see his first movie until 17. This harsh upbringing shaped him profoundly. He learned to observe the world in the most primitive way, without relying on any modern tools or conveniences. This ability later became central to his creative vision. Herzog decided at 14 that he wanted to make films. But he had absolutely no idea how to begin. The German film industry had collapsed after the war. There were no film schools he could attend. He had to teach himself everything. At 19 he worked in a steel factory, doing the hardest manual labor during the day, studying film theory secretly at night. He saved money from this grueling work, then bought an old broken 35mm camera. The machine was damaged in several places, but Herzog managed to repair it himself. In 1962 he made his first short film. It was called Heracles, a documentary about bodybuilders. The film was rough but powerful, already showing Herzog's distinctive style. His first feature film came in 1968. The title was Signs of Life. It told the story of people stranded on a Greek island, driven toward madness by isolation and deprivation. This film won him the German Film Award. But what really made Herzog famous was the 1972 film Aguirre, The Wrath of God. The making of this film is legendary. Set in 16th century South America, Spanish conquistadors searching for El Dorado in the Amazon jungle. Herzog insisted on filming in the actual jungle. He took the entire crew deep into the Peruvian rainforest. There were no roads whatsoever. All equipment had to be carried by hand. The filming conditions were unimaginably harsh. Actors and crew members took turns getting sick. Some were bitten by venomous snakes. Others nearly drowned. Herzog himself contracted serious tropical diseases, but he refused to stop production. The most famous scene in this film shows the protagonist standing on a raft. The raft occupied by hundreds of monkeys. Those monkeys were all real. Herzog bought them from local villagers. After filming he released them all back into the wild. Another scene shows the raft floating downstream. The camera mounted on another small boat following alongside. They encountered rapids and nearly capsized. Everyone was terrified. But Herzog said to keep filming. This reckless approach to filmmaking became Herzog's trademark. He believed only real danger could capture genuine emotion on screen. In 1974 he made The Enigma of Caspar Hauser. The film told the story of a deaf, mute, and blind young man struggling to survive in a primitive mountain region. Herzog cast an actor who was actually deaf, mute, and blind. His name was Bruno Schleinstein, known as Bruno S. This man's life story was itself miraculous. He had been institutionalized since childhood, treated as mentally disabled. Herzog discovered he was actually quite intelligent, just unable to communicate with the outside world. Herzog spent months training him to act. The final performance was heartbreaking and powerful. This film made Bruno an international star. It also won Herzog the Grand Jury Prize at Cannes. When discussing Herzog you must mention Klaus Kinski. The relationship between this actor and Herzog was a mixture of love and hatred. They collaborated on 5 films together, each one a masterpiece. But every production felt like warfare. Kinski had an explosive temper. He would have violent outbursts on set constantly. Once he screamed profanities for 3 straight hours. The entire crew was paralyzed with fear. Herzog said he seriously considered shooting him, but could not bring himself to do it, because Kinski's acting talent was unmatched. He could portray madness like no one else. This was exactly what Herzog needed. In 1982 they made Fitzcarraldo together. This film surpassed all previous productions in its madness. The story follows a rubber baron, who dreams of building an opera house deep in the Amazon jungle. To transport building materials, he decides to drag a 300-ton steamship from one river to another, over a mountain in between. This sounds impossible, right? But Herzog said we are actually going to do this. He refused to use models or special effects. He found a real 300-ton ship, used human power and pulley systems to drag it over the mountain. The entire process took 4 months. Employed over 1,000 local indigenous people. The ship nearly capsized several times. Cables would suddenly snap, nearly crushing several workers. Kinski raged on set every single day, threatening to quit the production. A local Indian chief told Herzog, "If you want, we can kill him for you." Herzog said no, let us just endure it a bit longer. An incredible incident occurred during filming. An extra was bitten by a venomous snake. He knew the venom would spread quickly, so he took a chainsaw and cut off his own foot. This man survived, and continued working on set afterward. Herzog documented all these real events, later made them into a documentary, called Burden of Dreams. This documentary itself became a classic. Many say it is even more gripping than the feature film. Herzog's documentary work is absolutely as masterful as his fiction films. In 1999 he made My Best Fiend, about his tumultuous relationship with Kinski, using extensive behind-the-scenes footage, showing their collaboration and conflict. In 2005 he made Grizzly Man, about environmentalist Timothy Treadwell, who lived with grizzly bears in Alaska, and was eventually killed and eaten by one. Herzog used footage Treadwell himself had filmed, combined with interviews and narration, exploring the boundaries between humans and nature. This film sparked enormous controversy. Some said Herzog was exploiting the dead. Others said he revealed profound truths. In 2010 he made Cave of Forgotten Dreams, using 3D technology to document the Chauvet Cave in France, which contains paintings 32,000 years old, the oldest known human artwork. Herzog used poetic cinematography to make viewers feel the weight of time. He said these paintings prove that humans have had the impulse to create beauty since ancient times. This impulse is our true essence. Herzog has an obsession with extreme environments. He has filmed documentaries in Antarctica, filmed in the Sahara Desert, filmed deep-sea volcanoes. He says the more extreme the environment, the more clearly you can see human nature. The veneer of civilization gets stripped away. What remains is the authentic person. But Herzog is not only about suffering and hardship. He has a sense of humor and it is quite unique. In 2009 he made Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call New Orleans, a black comedy crime film, starring Nicolas Cage, playing a drug-addled police detective spiraling into madness. The entire film is absurd beyond belief, yet somehow strangely compelling. Herzog said he loves this feeling of being out of control. Life should not be too normal anyway. He has also worked in science fiction. In 2016 he made Lo and Behold, Reveries of the Connected World, imagining a future where the internet completely collapses. Humanity must relearn face-to-face communication. This film prophetically explored issues of the digital age. Herzog said technology makes humans increasingly isolated. We need to rediscover authentic connection. Herzog's filmmaking philosophy is very distinctive. He opposes excessive control through screenplays. He believes too much planning kills the soul. He prefers improvisation on set, letting accidents become part of creation. He says the best images often come from accidents. Those unplanned moments are the real magic of cinema. He also opposes film school education. He says schools only teach technique, but cinema requires courage and imagination. These things cannot be taught. You can only discover them through your own adventures and collisions. He advises young directors not to study film, but to travel and take risks, to experience real life firsthand. Herzog has lived this way his entire life. He has traveled constantly. His footsteps cover all 7 continents. From the Amazon rainforest to the Sahara. From Antarctic ice fields to Kuwaiti oil fields. He says every new place he visits shows him different facets of human nature. These experiences are more valuable than any film class. He also has a famous theory called ecstatic truth. He says documentaries should not pursue mere facts, but deeper truth underneath. Sometimes facts actually obscure the truth. You need poetic methods to present it. This theory influenced an entire generation of documentary filmmakers. Herzog has made over 70 films, including both fiction and documentary. Each one bears his unmistakable signature. He never repeats himself, always seeking new challenges. Still making films in his 80s. Still traveling the world looking for stories. He says as long as he can walk and see, he will keep filming. He has won countless awards, including the Grand Jury Prize at Cannes, the Silver Lion at Venice, Lifetime Achievement Award at the Berlin Film Festival. But he says these awards do not matter. What matters is the film itself. The people who come alive on screen. The impact felt by audiences in the dark. Herzog has influenced many younger directors, like Christopher Nolan, Paul Thomas Anderson, Josh Radnor have all publicly stated that Herzog is their hero. He proved cinema does not need to follow rules. You can use the most primitive methods to capture the essence of humanity. Looking back at Herzog's life, you see someone who never compromised, never bowed to market forces, never yielded to investors, never surrendered to harsh filming conditions. He remained loyal only to his artistic vision. This persistence caused him much suffering, but it also made him great. Some call Herzog a madman. Some call him a genius. Perhaps both are correct, because true geniuses often have a touch of madness. They see what others cannot see. They dare to do what others will not do. They create eternal works through methods ordinary people cannot comprehend. Werner Herzog is exactly such a person. He spent his life proving that cinema is not just entertainment. It is a tool for exploring human nature, a weapon against mediocrity, a crystallization of dreams and madness. If you have not seen his work yet, I highly recommend finding his films. They will completely transform your understanding of cinema. See you next time.